My doorbell alerts won't stop. The footage is terrifying. Okay, so I got this new video doorbell maybe 3 weeks ago. One of those fancy ones that sends alerts to your phone. I live alone out near the edge of town where the street lights get sparse, and I figured it would give me some peace of mind, let me see who's knocking before I even get off the couch. It felt good installing it, tightening the little screws, connecting it to the Wi-Fi like I was taking control, making my little house a bit safer. The first week or so was completely normal, just the mail carrier dropping off junk mail, a couple of kids selling fundraiser chocolate I didn't need, the usual stuff. The app worked fine, the picture was clear day and night, everything was exactly how it should be. Peace of mind delivered, or so I thought. Then, about 10 days ago, it started happening. It was late, really late, maybe 3 in the morning when my phone suddenly lit up the dark bedroom with that specific ding sound the doorbell app makes. My heart did this stupid jump into my throat because absolutely nobody should be ringing my bell at that hour. I fumbled for the phone, squinting at the bright screen, and tapped the notification. The live feed popped up, showing my front porch bathed in the cold, weak light spilling from the living room window and the single flickering street light down the block. It was completely empty, nothing there. Just the porch swings swaying slightly, maybe from a breeze I couldn't feel inside, and the vague shape of the overgrown rose bushes lining the walkway. I watched for a minute, listening hard, but there was only silence through the phone's speaker. Probably just a big moth, I told myself, attracted to the little infrared light on the camera. Yeah, just a moth. I forced myself to roll over and try to get back to sleep, but my ears were straining for any sound from outside. The next night, it happened again. Ding! Closer to 2:30 a.m. this time. Phone lights up. I grabbed it faster this time, heart already doing that unpleasant thudding thing. Live feed again. Same empty porch, same faint light, same silence. Now, it wasn't just weird, it was annoying, disrupting my sleep. What was the point of this thing if it cried wolf all night? The night after that, it was worse. Ding around 1 a.m, ding again around 3 a.m, ding just before 4:30 a.m. Each time I jolted awake, checked the phone with growing dread, and saw absolutely nothing. Just my porch furniture sitting there, looking ordinary, the wood grain visible in the camera's night vision. Stillness, silence, empty. In the morning, bleary-eyed and running on bad coffee, I started digging through the recorded event clips stored in the app. The app automatically records short snippets whenever motion is detected or the bell is rung. I found the alerts from the night before. 3 short videos, each maybe 10, 15 seconds long. The first clip showed nothing, just the empty porch like the live feed. The second clip, same thing, empty. But the third clip, the one from around 4:30 a.m, I watched it once, twice, 10 times. Right at the very beginning of the clip, over by the dense shadows under the eaves near the rose bushes, something flickered. It was incredibly fast, less than a second, like a distortion in the video feed or a patch of shadow detaching itself, and then immediately snapping back into place. I zoomed in, scrubbing back and forth. It could have been pixelation from the night vision, a compression artifact, maybe even a bird darting past in the darkness just beyond the light's reach. It had to be something explainable. I told myself it was a glitch, just a digital ghost, but a cold little knot tightened in my stomach anyway. The nightly alerts didn't stop, they became routine. Ding, check phone, see nothing, feel dread, try to sleep, fail. Sometimes it would happen during the day too, while I was at work, buzzing my phone in my pocket. I'd check remotely, heart pounding, expecting to see a burglar. But no, just the empty porch again, maybe a leaf blowing across the steps or the shadows shifting as the sun moved. It was the night alerts that really got under my skin though. Always between midnight and dawn, always the empty porch. My sleep evaporated. I started looking perpetually exhausted with dark smudges under my eyes. I jumped at every little sound inside the house, constantly glancing towards the front door, feeling watched. And the recorded footage started getting undeniably stranger, moving beyond explainable glitches. One night, maybe 4 days ago, I checked the morning's clips and saw it. One of the heavy wicker chairs I keep on the porch, the one furthest from the door, started rocking slowly back and forth in the video. There was no wind recorded. The leaves on the nearby bushes were perfectly still, not even trembling. The chair just rocked, creaking faintly if I turned the volume way up, like someone had just gotten up out of it. It rocked for almost the entire 15-second clip, then gradually slowed to a stop just before the recording ended. The next night, I found a clip showing a small Amazon package I'd forgotten to bring inside. It was sitting near the door. Halfway through the clip, it just slid. Moved maybe 6 inches across the wooden porch boards with a faint scratching sound, like someone had nudged it with their foot. But the entire porch was visible in the frame. There was no one there, absolutely nothing there except the package moving on its own. Seeing that impossible little slide made my skin crawl and the hair on my arms stand right up. This wasn't glitches, this wasn't moths. Then it started appearing, not just the flicker anymore. It started as a shape, barely visible, lurking just at the very edge of the camera's wide-angle view, half hidden by the porch column or the deepest shadows. It was tall, impossibly tall and thin, like a drawing someone had done wrong. It didn't look solid, more like concentrated darkness, denser than the night around it. It would just stand there in the recorded clip, sometimes for only a second or two, before melting back into the shadows or stepping just out of frame. Ding. I'd snatch up my phone, my hands slick with sweat. Sometimes, if I was fast enough, I'd catch the live feed just as the shape was retreating. The way it moved, it wasn't human. It didn't walk or step. It flowed, sometimes smooth and liquid, sometimes jerky and unnatural, like a broken stop-motion animation. It made my stomach churn watching it. The proportions were all wrong, limbs too long and spindly, a head that seemed too small and sat at a disturbing angle on a neck that was barely there. Sleep became a forgotten luxury. I dragged the mattress off my bed and put it on the living room floor, facing the front door, my phone plugged in on the floor next to me. Clutched tight even when I dozed fitfully. The constant ding alerts were torture, each one a fresh spike of adrenaline and terror. I tried everything I could think of. I performed a factory reset on the doorbell multiple times. I rebooted my Wi-Fi router until I thought I'd break it. I climbed on a chair and meticulously cleaned the camera lens with a microfiber cloth, thinking maybe, just maybe, it was some weird smudge. Nothing worked. The alerts continued. The footage got worse. I finally broke down and called the customer support number for the doorbell company. Waited on hold for 40 minutes listening to awful synth music. Finally got a bored-sounding guy who had me run through the same troubleshooting steps I'd already done. He ran remote diagnostics. "Everything looks nominal on our end," he said, his voice flat. "The device is connected and functioning within normal parameters. Are you sure it's not detecting animals like raccoons? Or maybe passing car headlights, triggering the motion sensor? Animals?" I wanted to scream. Did raccoons look like 7-foot-tall stick figures made of shadow? Did headlights make furniture move? I just mumbled something about checking the sensitivity settings again and hung up. He wouldn't have believed me. Nobody would. I tried showing one of the clearer clips of the shadow figure to my sister over video chat. The one where it lingered at the edge of the frame for a few seconds. She squinted at her screen. "What am I looking at?" she asked. "That dark blob?" "Honey, that looks like a shadow from your tree branches. The wind blows, the shadow moves. Plus, the night vision on those things makes everything look weird." She told me I sounded terrible, that I was clearly stressed out and sleep-deprived, maybe seeing things that weren't there. "You need to relax," she said. "Maybe turn the notifications off for a few nights." Turn them off? The thought terrified me more than leaving them on. At least this way, I knew when it was there. Her dismissal just made me feel more alone, more trapped with this thing. My nerves were shot. I felt constantly cold, even with the heating on. Last night was the breaking point. The alerts began just after midnight, sharp and insistent in the quiet house. Ding! I forced myself to open the live feed on my phone, my whole body trembling. And there it was. Not hiding in the shadows this time. It was standing right in the center of my porch, directly facing my front door, maybe 10 feet away. It was clearer now, though still featureless, just that deep, absorbing blackness. So tall it had to hunch slightly under the porch roof. Its limbs were like burnt sticks, impossibly long and thin. Its head was tilted sharply to one side, listening or watching. It just stood there, utterly motionless. Staring at my door, I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. My heart hammered against my ribs like a trapped bird. The silence from the phone speaker was immense, terrifying. I watched, paralyzed, for maybe half a minute that felt like an eternity. Then, very slowly, it began to raise one of its skeletal arms. The fingers, if they were fingers, looked like charred, elongated twigs fused together. It reached out, slowly, deliberately, towards the doorbell camera mounted on the wall beside the door. Its movements were fluid yet jerky, like nothing natural. Closer and closer it came, filling more of the screen. Right before its hand thing touched the lens, the feed abruptly cut out. The screen went black. Ding! My phone just showed a connecting symbol for what felt like forever, then the live feed flickered back on. The porch was empty. Perfectly ordinary. Silence again. But I knew it wasn't gone. I haven't slept at all since then. The sun is starting to come up now, painting the edges of the curtains grey, but the alerts haven't stopped. They've been coming every 5 or 10 minutes all night. Ding, ding, ding. I'm too terrified to look at the live feed anymore. I just sit here on the mattress, staring at the phone as it lights up on the floor beside me. The notification banner slides down each time, showing a tiny preview thumbnail of the camera view. Sometimes the thumbnail shows the empty porch. Sometimes it shows the tall, dark figure standing there, waiting. And sometimes the preview shows something black and distorted pressed right up against the camera lens, like a grotesque face made of oil, and shadow trying to peer directly through the glass, directly at me. I ripped the indoor chime unit off the wall earlier, silencing that part of it, but I can't stop the phone alerts. I deleted the app twice, but within minutes, the awful compulsion to know, to see, made me download it again. It feels like a leash. I'm sitting here shaking, listening to the phone ding beside me. My front door is locked, dead-bolted, chain on. I dragged the heavy armchair over and wedged it under the doorknob, though I know deep down that won't make any difference against whatever that thing is. The phone just went off again. Ding. The preview? It's not on the porch now. It's darker. It looks like it's peering through my living room window, right past the gap in the curtains. I think I can almost see its shape against the dim morning light. I don't know what to do. Calling the police seems useless. What would I even say? Who would possibly believe this? The alerts just won't stop. They keep coming. Ding, it's still there. Ding,